Hi, everybody, and welcome today to this week's live onboarding and device setup. I'm Tim from Ledger. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to set up a Ledger Nano S Plus. So last week, Brady did the onboarding, and he also set up a Nano S Plus. He actually set up a World of Women Special Edition Nano S Plus, which is one of the cooler ones, in my opinion. But yeah, the as far as the way the device works, they all function exactly the same. So if you have a Nano X or a Nano S or any of the other devices, and you would like to follow along, go ahead and feel free to do so. You can set up your own device while I'm doing this. Things may look a little bit different, but the steps that I take to generate the recovery phrase, set up the device, connect to Ledger Live will all pretty much be about the same. And I'll kind of guide things as we go. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Oh, and one more thing. We should have a moderator in the chat that's going to be answering your questions. So if you did come here to ask questions and try to find out some more information about whatever, feel free to drop it in the chat. So hopefully we get a moderator in to answer those questions. And then as soon as I get done with the device setup, I will pivot and go to answering more of your guys' questions in the chat. So yeah, let's get this device set up. So full disclosure, as always, this is a device that has been set up in the past. You can see it no longer has the plastic on it. It's just a box. And that's because we were just unboxing way too many nanos to do these demonstrations every week. And since a nano can be reused in basically an unlimited amount of times, it just made more sense to reuse the same ones. So let me go ahead and pop this box open. I did reconstruct the box. This is what you'll see when you open up your Nano. So you'll take off the plastic cover, you pull off the outer sleeve, then you'll have this black box here. Go ahead and drop that. Actually, let me lower. There we go. I think the last person that was using this desk was a little bit taller than me. Okay, so we got the Trust Yourself, which I don't believe this actually is included anymore in the newer boxes. So if you don't see that, it's not a big deal. Okay, so then in here in the sleeve, you got your Nano S Plus. Actually, I'm going to change views. I'm going to go here. Okay, looks pretty good. And I'm going to start putting things down. So we got your Nano S Plus right here. You've got your secret recovery phrase sheets right here. Then you can take off side. Then you can take off this cover right here, and then you have this pink booklet right here that has, like basically good information on how to use your device, do's and don'ts, more information that I'm going to be going over everything. It's also got some stickers. I'm going to be going over everything with you live here, so we're not going to need to use this correspondence, but if you are setting up your device for the first time, I do recommend checking out all the material in this booklet because it could help you out a lot in your process. Or just come to one of these streams and we'll cover it all for you here. And then underneath that, you've got your cable. So you can see it kind of opens up and your cable is on the inside. I already have a cable right here that I'm going to be using that's a little bit longer than the one that it comes with. It works a lot better with our current setup here with all these different pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back in. I'm going to move this to the side because we don't need it anymore. Okay, so you have your Ledger Nano S Plus and you have your secret recovery sheet. The main things that will be needed to set up a Ledger device. Okay. So here's what happens when we plug it in. Now, at this point, if you have the Nano X, you'll know that your Nano X has a battery and you can plug it in and, or you can actually set it up just by powering on your Nano X. But since this is a Nano S Plus, it does have to be connected to power. However, you don't have to actually connect it to your computer at this point. You can just plug it into a wall outlet and go through this entire process without doing that. So it looks like this device, if you notice, it's actually kind of cool for this demonstration. I did mention that this device has been set up in the past. So if you'll see here, it's asking me for my PIN. And since it's asking for the PIN, I know that this device is already fully set up. If this device wasn't set up, it would say, welcome to Ledger Nano S Plus, ... So I'm going to go ahead and add to this demonstration. I'm going to go ahead and show you what can happen, how to factory reset your device. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and enter in a random pin, 217, back arrow. So if you'll see as I'm pressing buttons on here, it randomly jumps around. That's a security feature of the device. That way someone that's sitting next to you or across the room from you can't count your button clicks and determine where your what your pin code is. For instance, if it always started at 0, someone will be able to be like count your button clicks. So that's just a little security feature, kind of a subtle one, but it's kind of cool. Okay, so right here's the second security feature when it comes to the pin. You'll see that I put in the wrong pin and it said invalid pin, 2 attempts. So I click past that by pressing both buttons. I enter in the wrong pin again. Now it's 1 attempt left. I go again, random pin, and now it's going to reset my device. And there's no way to stop this from happening. If you ever put your pin incorrectly 3 times, it's going to factory reset your entire device. Then I can go right here and it's telling you, okay, so now your only option if you want to regain access to your crypto is to restore using your recovery sheet. So we're going to go past that. We're going to restart. Now you can see this is the screen that I was hoping for when I first set up, and this is the screen that you should see when you first plug in your Nano fresh out of the box. Welcome to Nano S Plus. Press the right button, and then this will direct you in how to use the device. So pressing the right button will go to the right. Pressing the left button will go to the left, and then pressing both buttons at the same time will make a selection. So we're going to go to the right. We're going to press both buttons to continue. And then this is telling you how to confirm a selection by pressing both buttons. Now it wants us to download Ledger Live, which is our application, at ledger.com/start. So you can see here on the screen, I already have it all pulled up for you, nice and big. But you can see that Ledger Live is already installed on this computer. I just reset it for this demonstration. So I'm going to go here to Chrome. I'm just going to show you, I'm going to go to ledger.com/start. Okay, and then basically it's just going to say, hey, all right, download Ledger Live. That's a step right here to download Ledger Live. This is our official website, safe place to download it. It's always it's always safer to actually go to the right web address instead of trying to search for it in Google, because depending on what search browser you're using, you may not get the same result. And full disclosure, there are a lot of scam websites out there that would love for you to download a fake version of Ledger Live that looks very similar to our version, but could inadvertently trick you into giving up your recovery phrase. And so if you ever are using Ledger Live, and if it ever does ask you for your recovery phrase, just know that that's not the official version. So I'm going to go here. So it's actually better to go to ledger.com/start and download straight from there. And then, switch back, you'll end up with our official application right here. Okay. So we're going to scroll to the right. We're going to follow the instructions. So it's saying follow the instructions in Live to set up your Nano, which we can do. You can go here to get started and choose your Nano, and it's going to walk you through the whole setup process. But we are actually going to just set it up here, and I'm just going to kind of explain things as I go. So so right here, I scroll all the way to the right, or almost all the way to the right, and you can see it says set up as new device or restore from recovery phrase. 2 options for every single Nano. You can either set it up as a new device and generate a new recovery phrase, or if you have an existing recovery phrase and you want to regain access to your existing accounts, you can choose the option to restore from recovery phrase. That'll let you put in your old recovery phrase, and then your Nano will immediately be able to access all of your same. All right. And yep, that's just one more reminder. So we are going to choose the option to set up as a new device, because that's the whole point of today's exercise. Show you how to set up a brand new device. Choose that. First step is choose your PIN. It can be 4 to 8 digits in length. Now remember, I touched on this a little bit a minute ago, but your PIN actually is only used to unlock your actual Ledger device. It doesn't actually have anything to do with your accounts. Like if you were to try to access your accounts from a different wallet using your recovery phrase, the PIN would have nothing to do with it. PIN is only to keep your recovery phrase and to keep people from getting into your Ledger device. So you do want a nice strong PIN. I recommend doing a full 8 digits in length for your PIN and making it as random as possible. Not like your phone number or something that's because You know, the security feature that will reset your nano if the wrong pin is entered is really powerful, but not if it's something that's really, really easy to guess. So the idea is you want to make it so it's not guessable within 3. And I'm going to totally violate everything I just told you right now. And I'm going to make my pin for this 1, 1, 1, 1. And I'm only going to make it 4 digits. This is so that if the device locks up on me and times out during this setup process, that I don't have to constantly put in a super long pin, waste time. However, if I was going to set this device up for myself and actually put load funds on it, I would make it as random and long as possible. I do not want anybody to be able to get into my. Okay, now we're going to confirm our pin. 1, 1, 1, 1, check mark. Now that we have our pin set, we're going to go ahead and write down our recovery phrase. So I'm going to set this down for a minute, and I'm going to switch views. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the recovery phrase. I'll try not to bore you too much on this subject, but the reason that I like to always touch on this and go into a little bit more detail on this part of the process is because this is the most important part of the entire process, is your recovery phrase. So think about your recovery phrase as being the ultimate backup to all of your crypto. It is your master private key for all of your accounts, not just one account that you have in Ledger Live, for every single account. Any account you make in Ledger Live is going to be derived right from the recovery phrase. And so you've probably heard the term, not your keys, not your crypto. It's a very popular term that is thrown around in the crypto community. And it means a lot. It means it's a very deep thing, but it also is very simple. It's basically the owner of the keys for that wallet is the owner of that crypto, because all crypto on all blockchains only ever exists within those blockchains. The crypto, when you load Bitcoin into your Bitcoin wallet, you're not sending actual Bitcoins over the through the wires and into your Ledger device. Your Ledger device only holds the recovery phrase that is able to access the accounts associated with that crypto, which all exist on the Bitcoin network. So if anybody gets your recovery phrase for any reason, if they ask for it, they will immediately be able to access all of your same crypto accounts. So it's the most devastating thing that can happen when taking your crypto into cold storage. If the user does not fully understand how important the recovery phrase is, it could very easily lead to a permanent loss of funds, and not necessarily just in situations where your crypto gets stolen from you or someone tricks you into giving you their recovery phrase. It could also be a situation where, you know, it's like, oh, what are these 24 words? Like, okay, whatever. Let me just write this down. I'll throw this in a junk drawer, and it's cool. I got my Ledger device, and it's working. It's fine. Now imagine 5 years later, your that piece of paper is long gone. It got thrown away in some, you know, spring cleaning exercise, and your Ledger device is no longer functioning properly. Maybe you drop it, or maybe it gets water spilled on it. And if that were to happen and you did not have that recovery phrase, that would be it. There would be no access in those funds. That would be a permanent loss of funds situation. So take this step very serious. Make sure you write down your recovery phrase words neatly and legibly, and make sure you store them in a safe, secure location. The best place you can do that is actually in a safe. Yeah, so that's my spiel on recovery phrases. Let's get back to the setup real quick. Okay. All right. So we always provide recovery phrase sheets. The Nano S Plus comes with these are my preferred ones. The ones for the Nano X are also okay, but I really like just like kind of like the way. Honestly, it's really just aesthetics. It's really like nothing like big. I just like sheets open like this. So one thing to pay attention to when you're writing down your words is to make sure that you notice that it's labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you write them down in the correct order. Because if you were to accidentally write them down from, like, let's say, top to bottom, and it wasn't numbered correctly, you could very easily find yourself in a situation, again, years from now, trying to restore your recovery phrase into your Nano, but they are not in the right order, and you're not accessing your account. So make sure that you write them down in the correct order. Okay, let's continue. This is just reiterating everything I just said. Only copy of your recovery phrase. Make sure you keep it in the same place. Press both buttons to continue. And we're going to start writing down our words. I'm going to go through and I'm just going to, as always, I try to multitask and explain to you like a little bit more about these words while I'm doing this. Sometimes I do get a little hung up because it's hard to multitask while writing down words. But basically, all of these words, every single recovery phrase in existence is set up of either 12, 15, 18, 21, or 24 words. And these words are all pulled from the same list of total possible words. And there's 2,048 of them. And this list is known as the BIP 39 word list. And so BIP 39 stands for Bitcoin Improvement Protocol 39, which is just a standard that basically governs and talks about how accounts are derived from recovery phrase. So basically, and you can look at this list online as well, and I can drop a link to it here once I get. But basically, this would be like the best place to look if you were to be in a situation where maybe you wrote down a word illegibly. There's a lot of words on this list that look similar to one another. If you don't have the greatest handwriting, then it could be very easy to like them. I'll put one example for you right here. I'll pause. We're gonna look to the word blue and the word blur. You can see like they look very similar to one another. It can be very easy, you know, to like scratch that down real quick, that word, and then like confuse it. And you know, if you're trying to input your words to regain access to your accounts, and you use the incorrect one, then the entire recovery phrase is not going to work. Wrong recovery phrase. And so if that were to happen, then you can go to the BIP 39 word list. You can actually cross-reference the words you have written down with what's on the list. And in some cases, you can see like, oh, maybe you're trying to enter a word that isn't even on the list. And so it can help you kind of trouble. $15 now. Also, I will not be loading any crypto onto these accounts. It's purely for demonstration purposes. So definitely there won't be any funds tied to this. This recovery phrase will be burned after. Okay, we got all 24 of our words. Go ahead and put lines through these ones. So now, go to the right. It wants us to verify our 24 words. We can actually go back. You can go back and you can go through and you can make sure you have them written down correctly from here before you go to the next step. But the next step will actually require you to also confirm your recovery phrase. Press both buttons. And we did streamline it a little bit, so you'll see it's just going to give you like random words. So you just scroll until you find the correct one, then you press both buttons. I'm going to go, okay, so local, digital, reason, board, corrupt, so. Okay. Okay, cool. So that is basically it. So now we are going to, if you get this right here, your recovery phrase is set, keep it to your place, you'll know you did it right. good to go. If you confirm your recovery phrase and you missed one, if one of the words is missed, you accidentally selected the wrong one, you'll get an error here saying, oops, doesn't match, try again. So yeah, but we didn't do that. Just reiterating, don't lose it. Keep it in a safe place. If you lose your recovery phrase and your nano, it'll be impossible to access your account. Never share it with anyone. Ledger will never ask you for it. Not ever. All right, press both buttons to continue. And we're processing. And it says your device is ready. So now at this point, you actually have to scroll once more to the right. You'll see go to dashboard. You got to go to dashboard. All right, so then you'll see these two widgets here. There's one that says install app. There's one that says control center. These are only here to tell you how to do these things. For instance, control center, if I double click on that, it's just going to tell me, oh, no, you need to hold both buttons to access the setting, which is a control center. You actually have to access both buttons here, hold them down for a few seconds. And this is the actual control. Access the settings. That's pretty much all you can do on the Nano S Plus. You can access settings, or you can lock the device. To turn it off, you just doesn't have a back. Close the control center, and then to install apps, we actually have to do that through Ledger Live. It's going to tell you to use the manager of your app. All right, so we're going to set that down. Now that we wrote down our recovery phrase, we don't need this anymore. So this would be the point where I would fold it up, and I would take it and I would put it somewhere really safe. So I'm going to take this recovery phrase, and I may need it again for demonstrations during this video, so I'm going to just set it to the side. But at this point, I would take it and put it like in my safe or wherever it is that I store my sensitive documents. All right, cool. So now we can come up here. I'm going to select Nano S Plus because that's what we got right here. So you'll see you have a couple options. First time using your Nano S Plus, set it up as a new device. That would be, if I click this, it would take us through all the steps that we just went through to fully set it up. And it would also provide a lot of the information that I have been providing you along the way. But I always like to kind of just do these sort of demonstrations ad hoc because you never know like what information, like might want to throw in. I feel like it feels a little bit less robotic. But if you're doing this for your first time, and you still have questions, I definitely recommend going through this because there's actually like a little quiz that you can take, which is, optional, but it can help you kind of help hammer home some of these concepts. We're going to choose already have a recovery phrase though, because we don't want to go through those again. And then we're going to go straight to connecting our Nano S Plus because we already have a recovery phrase set up. And now we just need to connect to Ledger Live. Okay, so we're going to check our Nano right here. Before you do this step, make sure that your Nano is plugged in, turned on, there's a little bit of a glare, and make sure that it's unlocked with the pin. Make sure it's not on pin lock. If there's a screensaver, little L's floating around or anything, then you will fail this genuine check. Or it'll likely just say, hey, unlock your Nano. So we're going to do that. So right here, we're allowing a secure connection with Ledger. You always have to authorize that before Ledger Live can connect to your Nano. And once we authorize that, it checks the firmware and it says all good. So basically, what we just did just now to connect to Ledger Live is what's known as the genuine check. And so the genuine check is performed anytime you set up your device and initially connect to Ledger Live, but it's also done anytime you connect your device and access the My Ledger tab in Ledger Live. And from the My Ledger tab, this is where you're able to install Nano apps, install your device firmware or your the operating system for your device to update that. To make any changes to the actual memory inside your device, it all has to happen through the My Ledger tab. And that can't happen without first performing a genuine check to make sure that your device operating system is legitimate. And so for anyone that has questions about like, oh, like I bought my Nano from a third-party reseller, I got it from Amazon and it came and like the plastic was a little ripped and or the bag had a little tear in it that it came in, and I'm just really concerned about the security of the device for that reason. Perfectly legitimate concerns, depending on like your level of security. However, if you pass the genuine check, if you download Ledger Live from the official website and it passes a genuine check, you'll know that your device hasn't been tampered with in any way, because the firmware is closed source. There's no way that anyone would be able to like install a malicious nano app onto the device without the firmware first being checked. So it's just one other fail-safe that we have in place to make it impossible to hack our devices. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and switch back to the big monitor. We're going to go back to the My Ledger tab. I already allowed the connection and I haven't disconnected it, so that connection is still established. So it's not going to ask me again. However, if I were to disconnect the device and plug it back in, it would ask me for that. So now you'll see we have all these nano apps right here. So your nano apps are actually, they actually don't really have, it isn't at your actual account. So this isn't like the account creation process. There's a lot of confusion during this step. But basically, what the Nano app is it gives your device the tools and the information that it needs to interact with these specific blockchains. So, for instance, if you want a Bitcoin account on Ledger Live, you would have to install the Bitcoin app. That way, your device knows which derivation path and which method and how to create a Bitcoin account on the Bitcoin network using your private keys. And same with Ethereum, XRP, they're all different. They all derive accounts differently from one another. So we're going to install Ethereum just as a for an example. All right, so now we got the Ethereum app. You'll see here on the device, it actually installed the Ethereum app. You see this little Ethereum widget right there. So now to do anything from, so we're going to go ahead and you can click, now you can actually add your account. You can click add account here. I'm actually going to leave here and go to the portfolio tab, and I'm going to click it from here because you can also click it from there. So now we're going to want to, in fact, I'm not going to do it, but you have to have the Ethereum app open. That way your device can, use it to create your account. But you don't actually have to preemptively open it anymore. You can just click add account and you choose Ethereum. Click continue. It's going to prompt you to do that. So open Ethereum app, press both buttons, and then it'll let you add a Ethereum account. And it's going to synchronize. This part can sometimes take a minute or so. All right, cool. So right now, what just happened was the request was sent to the Nano to derive a wallet for the Ethereum blockchain, and that happened inside the Nano, and then the Nano shared only the public wallet address with Ledger Live. So Ledger Live is able to now display the Ethereum public wallet address right here, and this is your receive address. That's why it says receive here when I click receive assets. So your public wallet address can be used to view or receive assets in your account, but you cannot sign a transaction from this account with just this address. So that's why it's perfectly safe to share your receive address. No harm can come to your accounts. No one can steal anything from you with just that address. They can only deposit into your account with this address or use that address to view what you have in your account. So depending on how private you are, maybe you don't want to share this openly with a lot of people. However, you can always also make other additional accounts as well. But that's a whole other topic. Okay, so that is so now it's asking to verify the address on the screen of the Nano. So you'll see that it's on the screen. So you can approve or reject it. In both cases, it's just going to close the screen up there in Ledger Live. However, this is a really cool feature because one thing to keep in mind is any information that is displayed on the screen of your Nano is verified trustworthy. It is coming straight from the secure element. It is it can't be tampered with. The information on the actual screen of your Nano cannot be tampered with. The device architecture is just not set up to allow that. And so, but however, information on the screen of your computer technically can be tampered with. And it's extremely rare. I will say that, and it's even hard to really even confirm, when we do suspect that we have cases of this happening, but there are certain there's certain like hacking tactics. It's more of a social engineering like scam tactic more than let me explain. So basically, there's certain types of hacks known as like a clipboard hijack would be one example, where when you copy information into your clipboard, which is where information goes when you use the copy paste feature on your computer, that information can actually be altered. So you can think you're copying certain information, and then when you go to paste, you actually paste out different information than what you copied based on what the hacker wants you to paste. So like you may think you're copying your actual public wallet address, and yet you paste something else. Now, I'm not trying to spread like unnecessary fear about this. This is extremely uncommon. However, to protect yourself against things like that, what I like to do is I'll generate my receive address here, and then I'll verify it on my screen, but then I won't clear it yet. I'll keep this on the screen of my Nano, and then I'll set it down right here. And then I'll come up here to Ledger Live. I'll copy it by clicking on this button here. Then I'll go to the exchange that I'm trying to withdraw crypto from, or the wallet that I'm trying to send crypto from, and I'll paste it into that wallet. And then after it's pasted into the other wallet, then I'll come up and verify each character right here with the information that I just pasted, which is verified, going to be guaranteed to be the information that is sent to that wallet. So that way you can guarantee that you're putting in the right wallet. Again, some people may think that that's a bit paranoid, and perhaps it is. I don't know. But when you work in customer service and you see everything, like you know that like there are certain things that are possible, albeit very unlikely. So it's always good just to be aware that these things exist. You don't have to let it control you, but just understanding about the potential risks that are out there can significantly increase your security in this space. So yeah, that is about all that I have for the live onboarding demonstration. We kept it to right around 30 minutes, which is really cool. I can see here in the comments, Ty, awesome. Yeah, Ty's been, wow, Ty's been answering a lot of questions. Awesome. Yeah, cool. So I can kind of get started after him, and I'd like to spend the next 25-ish minutes to directly answer your questions that you brought here. And it can be about device onboarding, how your ledger works, or just anything in general. So if you have any other questions, please drop them, and I'll do my best to get through them in the next 30 minutes or so. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so Inception is saying I have a Nano S Plus, which I'm using with Oasis Network Extension. It's not supported on Ledger Live. I'm familiar with getting path derivation of cryptos on Ledger Live, but how I get path of it? Yeah, let me take a look at the. Let me throw this real quick. Okay. Back here. Okay, cool. Interesting. So we do have a Oasis Nano app, which is published. So let me show you what I'm doing. So right now I'm looking to see if we have a Nano app. So we do have an Oasis Nano app. Take a look at that. And it doesn't say Ledger Live supported or requires third-party wallet. Usually it'll have one of those two things right here, which will let the user know like if they can create an account in Ledger Live. Let me show you more what I'm talking about. So you'll see like Bitcoin, all these top ones right here all say Ledger Live supported. But then you get down to AVAX and it says requires third-party wallet. And if it ever requires third-party wallet, that means that there is a Nano app that exists for it. So you can create accounts on that network with your Nano. The ability is just not there in Ledger Live yet. It hasn't been built in yet. So you can see that there's quite a few of them that requires third-party wallet. A lot, however, are supported right in Ledger Live. But Oasis didn't have any. So let me go here. We got the Oasis app installed. Go here, new tab. See if we can use CoinGecko to help us. There. All right, cool. So yeah, I like to use CoinGecko is usually a good place to find good information. Like here's a block explorer for Oasis that may come in handy. We'll open that up in a tab, and let me go ahead and open up Oasis Wallet. All right. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not seeing an obvious way to connect Ledger. Let me go back here. Let me go here. This wallet compatible with. Let's see what pops up. Let's see. Here we go. Looks like Oasis Protocol has one. Okay. So it wants us to install the Oasis app. We already did that. Yep, right there. Oasis ready. Yep, yep. Using Oasis wallets. All right, cool. So we want to go. Ah, here we go. Beautiful. Here's a DApp right here. So we got wallet.oasis.io. Let's go ahead and open up the Oasis app. We want to open using, here we go. So open your existing wallet stored on Ledger, import a private key or a mnemonic phrase. So you would never want to import private key or a mnemonic phrase. So remember, we have our 24 words right here. That's what's meant by mnemonic phrase. Private key is a little bit different. It's actually derived from your mnemonic phrase. However, we could actually import this phrase straight into a wallet like this. Like let's say to gain access to your accounts, but that would put the recovery phrase into this wallet. And so you don't want to do that because that will significantly reduce your security. So you always want to use the option to connect through your hardware wallet if possible. So we're going to go here. We're going to select Ledger, select accounts. So now we have to select our, looks like we have our Nano S Plus plugged in. We're going to highlight that and hit connect. And look at that, it's generating all of our Oasis wallets. Sweet. So it's always recommended to choose the top one. That's the first wallet address that can be derived from your mnemonic phrase, from your ledger. And you can see here, here's the derivation path they use for this coin. So 44, 74, which would be, so M as in master private key derives on the bit 44 standard, token number 474, and then account and blah, 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 blah. I'm not a huge expert on derivation paths, but yeah, it is important to have at least a little understanding about that if you're going to be importing into wallets. I always recommend doing the first one. We'll open. And then right now, very interestingly, this is actually the exact same thing that happens in Ledger Live when you create an account. Not exactly the same thing because obviously the Oasis network is different than, for instance, the Bitcoin network or the Ethereum network. So like under the hood, it's not the exact same thing. But for all intents and purposes, what we just did was we safely shared just the public wallet address of the Oasis account with the Oasis wallet. Now we can manage our funds on Oasis using our ledger. Which still contains the private keys. The private keys were never shared with the Oasis wallet at all during that process. And so now we can send our rows to this wallet. We can manage it, and it's got the exact same level of security as managing any of your accounts in Ledger Live. So yeah, it's a pretty cool feature. We actually just sent out a really cool tweet on our Ledger Twitter page that really goes into detail explaining why we consider our ledgers to be a signing device more than a cold storage device. Now, they definitely are cold storage. They are the coldest of storage. However, it also, the functionality is so much more across Web3. And this was just a really good example. And I'm really glad that you brought up Oasis because I like to show kind of my process of how I would go in and like safely search for like how to connect to this network. And so that's how we do it. All right, cool. That was kind of a long answer, but it was also a really good demonstration. Let's see. Okay, so even on my ETH address I'm using with Ledger, I have some tokens like Kick token. Where did it come from? Yeah, that's a really good. explain why on each my ETH address I have where are the tokens I didn't send. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so basically I've talked about this in some of the other live streams that I've done, but basically your we kind of touched on it here when we talked about the public wallet address. So your public wallet address is exactly that. It's your public wallet address. So anyone can, it technically exists. Like someone can find your ETH address on Etherscan, or someone can just run a bot that looks for, all public wallet addresses that hold this specific type of coin to target you. And basically, long story short is whenever you receive random tokens that have no value and are unexplainable, it's most likely just a scam attempt. It's spam, basically. That term was coined by the email, like your spam folder in your email inbox. It's the exact same thing. Same thing with like random like NFTs, like free Polygon. It's really common on Polygon. Free Polygon giveaway, 10,000 Matic to the first person who goes to our website and registers their wallet. Like those are all scams. It's if you go to your spam folder in your email, it'll look the same way. And so in Ledger Live, the best thing to do is to hide. Here, let me do something else real quick. Let me pull out my other Nano. The best thing to do in Ledger Live is to hide either the scam NFTs or scam tokens, and that way you don't see them in your portfolio. There is no way to really stop them from coming into your wallet. Just like there's really no way to stop someone from sending an email to your email address if they know your email address. However, that person would not be able to send an email from your email address without having your login. It's kind of the same idea with crypto accounts. So let me see here. How much time we have? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna plug in my other Nano. Let me show you what I'm doing here. All right, so we got this Nano here. We got it in Ledger Live. We create an ETH account with it in Ledger Live. You see there's no ETH. So now I'm gonna unplug it. I'm gonna plug in one of my work Nanos. Try not to drop it too hard. Okay, so it's a completely different Nano, completely different recovery phrase stored in it. I'm going to pull it off the camera and put in my pin real quick because there are some funds on this one. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to find the Ethereum application, and I'm going to add an account. I'm going to choose Ethereum. So right now it's synchronizing with this recovery phrase in here. Within the device, and the device is going to spit out a public wallet address. It's going to spit out the first public wallet address available from that mnemonic. And it's going to be a completely different account than this. And you can see there's actually, it already knows that there's a little bit of ETH in that account. Because remember, your crypto doesn't live in Ledger Live by any means or on your device. So this just, basically the device gave Ledger Live the public wallet address for this crypto account, for the crypto account that exists tied to this recovery phrase, and then Ledger Live sent a request to a block explorer, to Blockpath or Etherscan or whichever one it's using, to pull in the information of what exists inside that account. And you can see here there's also a few tokens in that account. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it and be done. So then you come up here and now we have two different Ethereum ones. That can get a little confusing. I'm gonna go ahead real quick and I'm going to say this is ETH-main. That way I know it's my main Nano that I'm using. I know which account it's tied to. And I got these tokens right here. So I can actually go here. If you have some random token showing up that you don't want to see, you can right click on it and select hide token. And then that'll make it go away. You may have to come up here and clear your cache after you do that, just to resync up. Okay, you can see I hid that token. So that's how I recommend dealing with those. It's really the only kind of way to do it at this point. But yeah, think about it as a spam, an attempted scam. Don't click on any of the links that come with it. Don't go to the website for those tokens. I wouldn't even try sending those tokens out of your account because there could be some stipulations like some tax that it's going to charge you or something, and it's just not worth it to even really interact with them in any way other than just to hide them. I'm sure that in the future there'll be a better way to burn those from your account as the ecosystem grows and evolves. But we're just in the early stages right now, and it's best just to hide them. All right. Let's see. Crypto Games Club saying make sure you migrate to a new ledger after Pulse Chain mainnet launch. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know why you would need to move to a new ledger. Your ledger really has nothing to do with your accounts. It just stores your recovery phrase. And so as long as the new Pulse Chain mainnet is used with the same standard and uses the uses the BIP39 recovery phrase standard, then there would be no reason to switch anything, to change anything. Yeah. Young Park. I hope I pronounced that right. Yeah, you're very welcome. And if you're talking to Ty, I'm sure he's very yeah, said it too. You're very welcome. We love doing this for you guys. Okay, Organic Garden saying I just set up my brand new Ledger Nano X yesterday and moved money from my Cash App hot wallet to my Ledger with zero issues. Sweet. Awesome. Yeah, I just saw that Cash App allows crypto withdrawals to self-custody wallets, which is super, super cool. And the process, I went through and checked it out. It's actually really clean. Nice. Mhm. Yep, double check the address. Yep, always double check the address. One wrong character, and you can send it to some address that like could just be a black hole, which most likely will be a black hole. So yeah, make sure you get that right. Andreas Ebert is saying, is it possible to stake my ETH within Ledger Live? Yes. Let me see. Let me go here real quick. See all the different options that we have right now. Okay, yeah. So we have Kiln. Believe. Oh, Lido. Yeah, yeah. So yes, we have Kiln and Lido right now. And coming soon, you'll actually be able to unstake from those as well. We're working on that. So let me show you. Oh, I'm on my face view. Let me show you. All right, cool. So you go here to the Discover tab. You got Kiln and you have Lido. I think Lido is kind of a more popular one. So I'm going to go to that. Maybe one that you're more familiar with. So yeah, so it's going to detect my ETH wallet, and then I can enter the amount that I want to stake. You can stake any amount, it doesn't matter, and then you just hit submit. So with ETH staking, I'm not going to actually do it because I don't want to pay I don't have enough ETH in this wallet to really cover the fees and make it worth it. You can see the ETH fees are still super high. It would cost about $20 in ETH to make this transaction. But basically, the way it works, you'll see here, you see available to stake ETH and then staked amount, and that's going to be an ST ETH. So what'll happen is you will send your ETH to Lido or the other staking provider, and you receive a token in return. And this token acts as a placeholder for the amount of ETH you have locked up in their ecosystem. Now, what's cool about liquid staking is you can actually send it around. Like if you want to, if you have ST ETH, the token that Lido gives you when you stake ETH, you can actually just buy that token. You don't even have to go through this. You can like go to Uniswap and just like swap your ETH right for ST ETH. You can swap out of ST ETH for other tokens. It's called liquid staking. It's extremely liquid. And another cool feature about it, which some people may not consider this a cool feature because it's kind of confusing, to be completely honest. But basically, the way liquid staking works with your rewards is the balance will simply grow in your account. So there will be no on-chain transactions. So it can be really confusing. Like, hey, I've had I've been holding this ST ETH in my wallet for a while and I don't see any rewards coming in. But if you were to go and compare the amount that you initially staked versus your total that you now hold, it'll be more because your balance grows over time. And there are calculators out there that you can connect your wallet to calculate that out manually, or I'm sorry, automatically. So yeah, so you can definitely stake your ETH through Ledger Live. Are we? Okay. All right, there we go. Looks like we have time for a few more. Awesome. Let's see. So Lecky Matop says, I have a Nano S Plus and have set up PIN and recovery, but can't get past that. Okay. It could be, I don't know if you remember, if you go back in this video after we get done, there was a point where after I set the PIN and then set the recovery phrase and confirm the recovery phrase, after that, there was an option to go to dashboard. I don't know if you remember seeing that, but that can be a little confusing because it'll say your device is ready. But then you also have to scroll to the right and go to the dashboard. So if you're unplugging before you actually finalize the process, then it could be just not taking. But there also could be other issues as well. So for that, honestly, it may be better to open up a support page. That way we can ask you for screenshots and kind of help and guide you through and determine if maybe there's something wrong with your device. All right. I apologize, but I'm not even trying to pronounce your name, sir. Oh, Nicobit. Okay. I'll just call you Nicobit. Okay. Saying hello there. Hello back. How do you prepare to get ready for quantum computers password crack, which will be eligible in 5 to 8 years from now? There will be no way to use modern password combinations then. So we actually do have a pretty good article that our CTO, Charles Guillemet, that he wrote about how to, like his thoughts on quantum computers, and it's really, really good. Here, let me go ahead and find that for you actually real quick. Yeah, this is a really good article. Very thorough. I'm gonna go ahead and link it for you guys right here. And I'm definitely no expert on the subject, but I will provide my thoughts on it. Personally, it is, you see in the comments, I threw it down in there. Personally, it's not something that it's not something that really should be feared so much at this point. Like at this point, there's no reason to suspect that that's going to be the case. A quantum computer hasn't been built yet, and we're at this point, it's not clear what the functionalities will be or when they will be available because it just hasn't happened yet. But this article will go into much more detail on it. So take a look at that, and I will let it speak for itself. All right. So how do you buy, sell through Ledger in the menu? All right, let's go back to Ledger Live. All right, so in Ledger Live, you can see that you have a buy, sell tab here. So you click on that. So it'll give you, if you see this button here, it says compare providers. You click on that, and then you choose what you want to buy, and you see it has a big old long list of cryptos here. At this point, it'll pretty much let you choose whatever. However, you won't be able to buy certain things. So one thing to keep in mind about buying, selling, swapping through Ledger Live is that these are not Ledger-owned parts of our company. Like we contract that out. We have partners that deal with that, and that's because the only way to buy and sell crypto is to have certain licenses for it and to perform and to follow certain regulatory requirements. And those requirements are actually going to be different depending on what country you're in and where you live, even sometimes within the same country, like state by state. So if you choose a crypto, it's gonna route you to a provider that is able to fulfill that for you. And you may actually have to do you will have to do KYC, which is identity verification, in order to set that up. And then that'll be done through that provider, like kind of through Ledger Live, but we won't have any access to that. And so yeah, so basically what you want to do is let's say if you want to buy some Bitcoin. Oh, we don't have a Bitcoin account. Let me choose a better example. We're gonna choose Ethereum, and then I'm gonna send it to my ETH main account. So then it's asking how much you want. Let's say I wanted to buy $50 worth. And then it'll say how much ETH we would receive. You would confirm amount. Ask you how you want to pay. What country are you in? We are in it was already defaulted on. It already knows what country we're in. Let's say I want to pay with my Visa card. Let's find eligible providers. Let's see if this is possible. And then it looks like it is, definitely. So we could buy through all of these, and it'll give you the best option up top. Get the most bang for your buck. Looks like we would be paying about $3.24 in fees if we chose this option. So I want to click on it, and then I would do confirm. And then at this point, you would have to sign. This is the bottleneck right here. So now it's saying, okay, great, yeah, we'll definitely sell you this crypto, but you got to log into your account. And then like, oh, you don't have an account? That's totally fine. You can do your identity verification right here. You can sign up and you can do all that. But that will be required to purchase crypto. It's the same as buying it from an exchange. Although one really cool thing about buying through Ledger Live is it takes away the requirement to have to now withdraw it to your crypto wallet. You can see I was able to select the actual wallet that I wanted the crypto to go to. And so that like maybe the fee will be a little bit more, but if I don't have to actually withdraw it from the exchange and then pay those withdrawal fees from the exchange, and then like it could actually be like much easier for a lot of people. It really just depends on your level of your level of knowledge and what you're comfortable doing. Some people prefer not to have to deal with an outside exchange and then try to withdraw and wait for the withdrawal time. This will just get deposited right into your account, which is pretty cool. All right. VY is saying, okay, I got it. Thanks a lot. Yeah, one more question. You're very welcome. One more question. Ledger Nano X has my USB plug, and if I'd like to use Ledger on my MacBook as Type-C, I've heard of some connection issues when using. No, actually, so the USB-C to USB-C cable works just fine. I do it all day. I also have a MacBook. And so this is a cable that I use. It's just a little short little USB-C to USB-C cable. This is what I always use. I've never had any issues with it. One thing that may give you an issue is if you have like an adapter like this, a dongle. If you this may sound kind of silly, but it's really not. It's like if you're not like super technical, why would you know this? But let's say you have a USB-C to like the cord that the Ledger came with, and you tried to plug it in this end of the cable into your computer, and then this end into the adapter, and then this end into your Nano. It doesn't work backwards. It'll only work forward. You have to make sure you plug this end into your computer, and it's going in the correct direction. Otherwise, it just won't work. But yeah, as far as USB-C cables, that's the only issue that I know of. All right. Cedric Guion, sorry if I messed that up. When I stack Evmos and INJ, my Ledger asks me for a signature, not to confirm a transaction as usual. Do you know why? So when you are receiving into your Ledger, the only time your Ledger would ask you for anything when receiving is to verify your receive address. But that's also not required. You actually don't have to do that. You can just generate your receive address by clicking "Don't have my Nano," and it'll still generate it for you. It's not as safe to do it that way, not as secure, but as long as you're running virus scans in your computer and you're being very careful, then it's probably okay to do that with small amounts. However, if you're ever sending large amounts, always verify your address. Now, let's see. Oh, you know what it could be? Are you yeah, are you swapping for if you're still here, let me know. Are you performing a swap like through a provider like for these tokens? Because if that's the case, then you will have to sign separate different. You may still have to sign different transaction types. You may have to give a token approval, which will say like basically like give this wallet permission to access this token, yes or no, and then you sign that, and then maybe after that you sign your transaction. If there's something like that going on through like a swapping provider, that's totally normal expected behavior, and that is something that you have to do in a lot of cases. All right. Sabas T is asking, can I use the same Nano S Plus for different hardware devices, Android, Windows? Yeah, yeah, definitely. So you'll see I plugged in my work Nano and I added my account into Ledger Live. I can plug this thing into as many devices as I want and import my ETH account all over the place if I wanted to. In fact, I do. I have this account imported into MetaMask. I routinely remove it, import it back into Ledger Live. I've imported this account onto my own personal computer at home. There's no limit. Your device doesn't care what it's connected to. If you authorize it to import that account, it'll import that account. All right. See. Good evening. How can we, Troll Relo is saying, good evening. How can we recover the reward when we have shared our link of the shop? Yeah, so basically you're probably talking about the refer a friend. So on that, you would go to you would have had to set up your refer a friend. If you already have a link, you would have already had this set up. But you go to your Discover and you go to the refer a friend, and of course I don't have a referral link, so it's not going to let me go much further. But you would have a way to claim your rewards, and there is a 30-day claim period that you have to wait before you can claim it. But there should be a countdown, and or there should be a date that you submitted it, or that it is showing, and then 30 days from that date is the day that you can claim it. Oh, okay, cool. Cedric, you stack by Kepler, the Kepler wallet? Yeah. Yep, yep. Oh, I guess that should have been tipped off by that because with Evmos, IBC. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the same thing would hold. If you're performing a swap through that wallet, it'll probably ask you for a token approval to access that token, and all sorts of signatures may be required. Yep. B, you're very welcome. Happy to help. So this is probably gonna be my last question. Oh, it looks like someone's asking about Gala. All right, I'm gonna hit these two last questions, and that's all the time I have for today. Okay, so is Ledger planning to do KYC in the future? Absolutely not. These are self-custody devices, anonymous by nature, and so you do not ever need to provide your information to use these devices. So no, we will not be requiring KYC. There's some grayness around that, where it's like, okay, but some features do require KYC in Ledger Live. Not the case. Well, that is the case, but those are not through Ledger. So those are additional services that we have partnered with to make things easier, to make Ledger Live just a more inclusive space where people can do more of their functions in the Web3 without having to go out into Web3 so much, if that makes sense. So like buying, selling, swapping, staking, like all sorts of cool things. But to just use a ledger to buy and hold and I set up crypto accounts and send and receive, KYC will never be required for that, not ever. All right. And so Paper Doll is asking, I want to say thank you. The other day I couldn't see my Gala on Ledger, and refreshing the cache did the trick. Awesome. Yeah, it's good to hear. Cool. Yeah, that's a really cool trick. Anytime, like if you like look in your account and you send a token to that account, like in your ETH account, it's not showing up. or you sent some Bitcoin and you've already talked to the exchange and they're like, hey, we sent you your Bitcoin. I don't know what to tell you. First thing you should try is to clear your cache. So clearing your cache in Ledger Live, which I'll go through it while I explain here. I think I actually already did it once in the thing, but I'll show you. So you go up here to the top right corner and you click on settings, which is a little gear icon. And then you go to help. And then you go to clear cache. And then you confirm it. And so this will basically re-jumpstart Ledger Live, and it will make Ledger Live go through and resync with all your different accounts on the blockchain. And it'll pull in accurate data. So it usually fixes most synchronization issues. Okay. All right. I know I said that was my last one. Yeah. Happy to provide any input I can. It's a very complex topic with quantum computing. It's a little bit, honestly, above my. It's technical. It's very technical stuff. Yeah. Chainlink Juan Garza is already supported. Feel free to send your Chainlink directly to your ETH wallet address, and it'll show up as a token. In fact, I'll show you. I actually have a little bit of Chainlink in my account. All right, so we go in this ETH account right here. You'll see I have a couple Chainlink, couple Link right there. So you'll send Link directly to your ETH wallet address, and it will show up just like this as a token. Yep. And again, if you don't see it, clear your cache, and it'll definitely show up. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty much all the time that I have for today. Sorry if I didn't get to your question or if we didn't get to it. But I hope that the device setup was helpful for some of you. And I hope that the questions that we answered was helpful for some of you. So I'm right after this, I'm going to go through and reschedule for next week. So I'm going to be doing a full Ask Me Anything on Monday as well as on Wednesday. And it's going to be at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'll go ahead and schedule those on YouTube. That way you can set reminders. And if we didn't have time to get to your questions here, definitely come and hang out with me on Monday and Wednesday, and I'll be more than happy to. I'll dive into anything you want to dive into. And if I don't know the answer, I'll do my best to provide you resources of where maybe you can look more into it. But yeah, it's been a ton of fun. Stay safe out there. Don't share your recovery phrase with anybody, and I'll see you guys all on Monday.